Yo, watch the game. What's good people? What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on? Got me off guard with that one. Watch the game. Thanks for joining as we speak. Detroit Lions up 14-9, week 7 NFL action. And for those who this may concern, the Seattle Mariners up 2-1 on the Toronto Blue Jays in game 7 of the American League Championship Series. Gotta see what inning that game is in, but we're here to talk about some football tonight. Like I said, as we speak, Lions up 14-9 on the Buccaneers on one of those strange and weird Monday nights. A doubleheader, but this one is a little different because they're not going to be playing simultaneously tonight. The people on the West Coast got a decent start with a 9 o'clock start. With the Texans going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. I'm not a big fan of the doubleheader Monday nights, but I must say the way this lineup is going, it's a little bit better from a viewer's vantage point. Bears 4-2. Get into that. Get into a little bit more what's going on in the NFC North and do the best we can to cover the rest of the league in the National Football League. So I have my opinions on this runaway victory that the Bears had. They really got the running game going. The passing game had a couple questions to that. First of all, let me send a shout out to my man Will Bates. I was texting Will earlier and I told him, for all you people that continue to say that Ben Johnson came to Chicago because of Caleb Williams, no. Ben Johnson came to Chicago to coach the Chicago Bears. Just so happened to have Caleb Williams on the team. Caleb Williams had something to do with it, but he's not the reason why. Chicago and the Chicago Bears is the reason why. How do you feel about this victory by the Chicago Bears over the New Orleans Saints? Week 7, Bears advancing to 4-2, getting that running game going. How you feeling, Penn?
I was glad they got out of the proverbial trap game and took care of business like a good team should. We don't know if they're a good team yet, but they showed the traits of a good team by taking care of your business without, looking ahead to next week with potentially Lamar Jackson coming back, just where they at in the standings, getting things rolling. The Saints struggling. They was 1-5 coming in, I think, but they was a scrappy 1-5. Like it was, other than that game, they got blew out versus who was that? Seattle. I think when they gave up like 50. Other than that game, they've been pretty much making teams work for it. So yeah, the Bears, they came out, they took care of business. It was exciting to see the running game have another good, another good week in succession. All we've heard so far about Ben Johnson's scheme is the reason it worked so well in Detroit is because it was based off of a strong running game. So as long as we have that here in Chicago, he should be able to replicate what he did in Detroit. So it was good to see him, after them coming out of the bye, figuring out, especially this early bye, they didn't really got too much tape on themselves. Seeing that, making the adjustments, and then the 2 weeks after the bye, the running game has looked exponentially better than what they did before the bye. So I'm excited, that they handled their business. 4-2, 4-game winning streaks don't come around often around here. The record 4-2 don't come around often around here.
Wait a minute.
It's not the same.
Go ahead.
It's not the same 4-2. That's what I said.
That's yet to be seen. We won't know that until next week.
The reason I said
they've been here before. It looks different. I'll give you that.
And we, as educated, level-headed, reasonable Bears fans, knew that 4-2 last year. We never believed in the coach or the coaching staff. If you want to go that far, we never believed in it. So we just didn't see it going as horribly left as it did go. But we trusted, our experience as Bears fans over our eyes. Like, this is probably a little bit of fool's gold. They probably ain't 4-2 good, but they record was 4-2.
And I'm going to continue to follow and believe in my experience with this. Now, let me give you, we talked about the running game. Got established the Soldier Field for the second week in a row. DeAndre Swift runs for over 100 yards. With a stat line of 19 carries, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And he was even followed up by Cal Monangai. We've been asking for Cal Monangai for Cal Monangai to get more carries. He went out, he performed well, 13 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. We even had a Roshan Johnson sighting for at least one play. This is the second week in a row he's been able to get on the field and get some snaps since the bye week. He got a snap, he got a carry against the Commanders, and then he went out yesterday. He got one carry against the Saints, and that was one carry for 11 yards. A good hard run. I believe it was off the right side, but the running game, and as Ben Johnson begins to implement portions of his game plan and now connecting it to the passing game, and I continue to think that the challenge is on Caleb to play better in the pocket. He's going to assist him with a running game, and they're going to get a little bit more into play action. I can expect we're going to see more action as long as they can continue to run the ball as well as they have the last 2 weeks. Expect to see him build on that. So now the pressure is going to be on Caleb to make the plays. I have some concerns about Caleb being he's coming off as a one read quarterback. The reason why I say that because it was very obvious early that the Saints were trying to take away Rome Odunze. And I wondered what would happen when teams started to do that, when they started to take away Rome Odunze. And I also wonder if with Ben Johnson, you look at some of his facial expressions as he's on the sideline, and I wonder if he's assisting Caleb as to tell him exactly who to throw the ball to. Because at times it seems like he's bailing the pocket, and whenever he bails the pocket, you can kind of know who he's looking for, and it's been
1,000.
Roma Dunze.
Yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, and I think that he's going to have to move the ball around a little bit better.
Was
A
you happy
lot.
with the tight end
Go
usage?
ahead.
Was you happy with the tight end usage this week?
That's what I was getting into. That's what I was going to get to. A lot of fan concerns is the targets of Cole Komet and Colston Loveland. More so Colston Loveland because they went up so they drafted him pretty high in the draft, and a lot of fans want to see more targets for Colston Loveland. But as critical as I am, or as many doubts as I may have of Caleb Williams, there's only one football. There's only one football, and he's a second year guy. So I have to believe that Ben Johnson is assisting him and says, look, we want the ball to go here, specifically here. And if that's Colston Loveland, if that's Rumo Dunze, if that's DJ Moore, I have to believe that I really do believe that that's how this thing is going down. Because when he does throw to those guys, the ball comes out quick. I mean, think about it. When he threw the ball, he threw a bad ball to Colston Loveland, and I want to believe that that was the one read. He got rid of it quick. So I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to play the pace and tempo in which Ben Johnson wants him to play.
Hmm.
The more and more I watch the Lions, I understand what he's wanting him to do, but he has to stay in the pocket to do that. You can tell the rollout plays from the pocket plays. And you can tell when he's bailing out of the pocket too early. And I think that can be kind of frustrating to Ben Johnson.
I mean, yeah, because again, Ben is Ben coming in where he know his system work if he just play it the right way. If he just play on time, hit who he's supposed to hit. The love affair, I guess we can really say that he has with Rome. I mean, he even came out last year and said, if it's crunch time, who we going to? Without a doubt, he said Rome. So, and we see that he's very evident on the field on Sundays. He's looking for Rome. He's looking for Rome. But I don't know. I think Ben is trying to have a little bit more patience than that that people are giving him credit for. I'll say that like that.
Yeah.
Um,
You can see it on his face. I mean, it's not just Caleb. It's kind of in the moment too. That's an intense look you would normally get from most coaches anyway. There's only a few cool, calm, and collective coaches in it all across professional coaching. I don't care what level, college or pro. It's a stressful thing, but there's a lot on the line for Ben right now. There's a lot expected of this team, but carry on.
but no, yeah, just to answer your questions, I don't. I think he's having his growing pain moment just like Caleb. That's what I think is going on. I don't because I think you thinking he's like, man, if you just put the ball where I need it to go, everything will be
Yeah.
great, right? And he has a short temper behind the scenes with up at Hallis Hall with Caleb. Is that which side of the fence you landing on?
Well, he's a
Because I'm on
first
the
time. It's
yeah.
a little bit of everything. He's a first time coach. He wants it to go well. Ben Johnson is finding out as much about himself as he is about Caleb Williams as a head coach. I'm gonna be totally honest about that. I believe it's only normal to consider that. And in the totality, we're what 4-2, Bears 4-2, 6 games, and I'm looking at that 10 game mark. I said 8 to 10. The best thing Caleb has done to this point, he's played well. He played extremely well. He had his best game against the Cowboys. What would you say if I told you that's going to be Caleb's best game ever as a Bear?
That would be disheartening and disappointing.
I think the challenge for Caleb not only is to get this offense down, is to do it within the pocket. And I think that's where the challenges come in with Caleb. Doing it within the pocket. Yeah, it's one game, but some people would say that he didn't play particularly well against the Commanders. So you stack one mediocre game, well, two mediocre games. Because if Jaden Daniels don't fumble that snap or fumble that handoff, we're looking at two totally different situations going into week 7. But it is what it is. Bears 4-2. Defense went out. They're causing turnovers. They lead the league in turnovers, I do believe.
I think they
And
I think they got over 7 games, if I heard that correctly somewhere.
yeah, that was they got what is it? How many turnovers? I
I,
don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe 16. Was it
yeah, I think it was 15, somewhere around there. Uh,
15, 16 turnovers unofficially? I might add. But the defense in the running game is peaking. The defense and running game is peaking. However, this is I watch a lot of I listen to a lot of the sports media in Chicago. And the one thing I keep hearing across AM 1000, ESPN 1000, and even the score 670
16.
that, yeah, 16 takeaways for the defense. They're both saying consistently that is not sustainable to continue to get these turnovers. And in some cases, the Bears have not really taken advantage of all the turnovers.
A lot of
You
field
know,
goals.
a lot of field goals. So I think the challenge continue for the passing game to increase and to be better, and for Caleb Williams to be a big part of that. The biggest, no, one of the number one thing Caleb has going for him is his availability and his health to be able to have the opportunity to continue to build on learning this offense and playing within this offense. Because I'm just telling you, he cannot afford to get injured. He really can't. Because if my memory serves me correctly, we know Tyson Bagent is not as talented as Caleb Williams, but he does get the ball out. He did get the ball out quicker than Justin, and he does appear to get the ball out quicker than Caleb. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah,
That's why I say the Caleb's ability to be on the field and continue to make progress with this coach in this offense is his big advantage, especially if they're winning. So I mean that's about all I want to say about pretty
and
much the Bears in that situation. I
let's
mean they
add
got
accuracy to that. He's got to become more accurate. He's still missing too many
yes, yes, yes.
layups. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's footwork. I don't know. I don't get down and break down tape like that and pretend to be a Monday morning quarterback coach guru. I don't do that. But
Hmm.
we can see just by watching the broadcast that he missed that one bad, or he missed that one in the dirt. He's missing. And we can see that the percentage of a marginal quarterback is 60%. If you 65, 66, we talking upper echelon, right? So we
Yeah.
need him to be up, in that area, or just see the improvement. I still think he throws a lot of bad balls to DJ, but DJ be snagging them. The Zacchaeus one versus the Commanders, that I don't think that was on him, that was on Zacchaeus, but it's what I'm trying to say is it's very few that's on the receiver. They're more
Yeah.
on him.
Caleb
Yeah,
getting it to him accurately is what you're
exactly.
saying. Another thing you brought up, DJ Moore, as it pertains to the run game. It's a good thing to see Kyle Monangai uh, add another dimension to this running game, because it puts DJ Moore back at his true position of wide receiver, where he could be more of a threat there. I did not like DJ Moore taking handoffs out of the backfield. Good thing they're able to get Cal Monangai involved. Maybe even Roshan Johnson can add another perspective to a power running game, because that's what Roshan Johnson represents. He represents more of a power running game, with DeAndre Swift giving you the opportunity to either run the ball or you can even hit him in the passing game. So um, if these running backs are going to continue to perform like this, with different skill sets, um, all that trade for a running back at the trade deadline, all that talking, that talk can go to pace. Maybe you can go trade, get a pass rush or something else, whatever you may need on this team. But
But
the
they a pass
running back thing
rusher.
is kind of coming together.
Are they a pass rusher away? And that's would be my question. From what we've seen, and it really don't matter what we think. What Ryan Poles have seen, are they a pass rusher away this year from really competing from something? And their window is a 3-year window. I don't know if they at that point yet.
Yeah,
I know you got
the
the coach,
time is pretty much now. I'm gonna tell you why I say this, and it's gonna be redundant. You wasted a year of Caleb's development under Eberflus. Caleb's in his second year. It's not about Caleb. Caleb has to be good, but not only does he have to be good, he has to be good enough where the Bears will say we're willing to extend and pay him. And I think that's what people have to realize is when it comes time to pay him, Is it going to be worth paying him? Because get, look, Mitchell Trubisky, no Caleb Williams talent wise. Same scenario, same situation. Second year, new head coach, getting off to a good start. Mitchell Trubisky's second season, Bears go to the playoff. The one discrepancy we know the Bears needed that year was a better kicker. The kicking game was suspect. And that's ultimately what doomed the Bears in 2018.
That's the
But
12-4
some
year, right?
say that again.
12-4 Matt Nagy year.
Yes, his first season.
Okay.
It's almost identical. The Bears, I mean, I think they kind of started off the same way then. They lost to the Packers. But anyway, they're winning. The quarterbacks, two totally different skill sets. One has a special talent. The other one, you really have to scheme around his skill set. That being Mitchell Trubisky. But what I'm saying is, the winning when it comes time to pay Caleb has to be because of Caleb. And the last two wins, you can't really say that. That's why I say the time is now. They wasted a year of his development. Who the hell they would have brought? It would have been great for Ben to be his coach as a rookie. We'd probably be ahead of the game right now. But the time to win is now. The time to win is now. Not only for Caleb, but for Ryan Poles as well. Ben Johnson has all the juice.
Uh, yeah. Or can I interest you in a scenario where they see Caleb as not an elite quarterback, but in the same vein that the Dolphins saw Tua in when he got his money?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. We're talking about the Bears. Okay. And that's a good comparison. You can also say Trevor Lawrence is a good comparison. Okay. But think about this. The the Eagles won a Super Bowl. It was very much a team effort throughout the season. The Eagles win because of team. They're not we're not to be mistaken Jalen Hurts as this great quarterback. The team is built around what he does well. That brings me. We're gonna talk about that game, but we're gonna talk about the Vikings later. But you get what I'm saying. It's a fine line between great and good. And what are the Bears willing to pay for? Because I fear that the biggest fear I have is that the Bears have the same scenario. It reminds me of Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler got paid, and they probably should have franchise tagged Jay Cutler instead of paying him. And I just think when the time comes, I believe Ben Johnson is going to. Ben Johnson, I have more faith in Ben than I do in Caleb. I think Caleb has to play to a certain level. And then we got time for that. But the time to win right is now. The time to win is now because they're already saying at some point if this thing don't go to the playoffs, then they're going to be already questioning whether or not we got the right guy quarterback. Okay. This Chicago media is janky. They are janky. I am consistent. If I don't believe, I don't believe. But I'm not going to flip flop all over the place. One week, you about to go in the Hall of Fame. The next week, you ought to retire. I have to see that progress over time. I try not to make them adjustments right away. Right now, I'm still not sold on Caleb. I'm leaning towards being sold on Ben Johnson, but the two have to work together. That's just my opinion. I just think that Ben Johnson is here to coach the Bears. Caleb is part of the team. And if Caleb don't get it done, Ben Johnson will go get his own quarterback. That's all I'm saying. So I don't. I've been telling people. They tell me that. Well, you didn't see when Ben Johnson said it. He said it. My message to those people is don't believe everything you see on TV. When you go to a job interview, you can tell them what you tell them what they want to hear to get that job, or you tell them what they want to hear to close that deal. But then once you get that thing going, you got to make it work. You're gonna do what you got to do to make it work. So if Caleb Williams is the answer, he'll be the answer. But if he ain't, Ben Johnson gonna coach the Bears. He gonna do what he got to do to win with the Bears. Caleb Williams' best attribute is his ability, his availability to be on the field. That's the best way I can see it. I got a few more weeks to figure out what Ben Johnson thinks, but that's how I feel about it.
I just if they in that middle ground where they find themselves coming up to the draft and there's nobody they like or love, and Ben is like, okay, well, I done brought Caleb this far. Yeah, I think he should be at point X, but he's not as far along as I like. But do I want to waste trying to go get somebody else, a young guy, and starting this process all over again? Or do the Bears then become a destination like what the Vikings was last year, where you get a Sam Darnold coming in, and he can be your stopgap guy for a year. He balls out. Then maybe your young guy comes in after that. Like, does he have the appetite for that? You just said he's trying to coach the Bears, and we know NFL is not for long. So
Exactly.
if he gets in a situation where, like I said, he's not as far along as he would like, but he still think it's a working relationship that he can manage and still be successful with, Caleb Williams will be here on an extension.
Yes. Yes. I believe that. I mean, they have to get to the point where they're winning because of Caleb. That can start next week. In your opinion, has that 4-2? The Bears are 4-2. Has that been your impression so far? They're
No,
winning because of Caleb Williams.
they're 4-2 because the running game took off the last 2 weeks and the defense been taking the ball away left and right.
Okay. So we watching the game and we putting it in perspective. That's exactly how I see it. The winning is these are team wins. So you have to give the credit to the coach and the coaches because to their credit, each one of them has made adjustments, even to the special teams. That bye week was good in a lot of ways for special teams and defense. Defense was already trending with the turnovers and stuff. They continue to do so, and they're consistently getting turnovers and giving the ball back to the offense, giving them an opportunity to make plays. Now, with all this talk about the 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 uh, the tight end, the rookie tight end, we just Coastal Lovely getting more. We have to be patient with that. What you want to know is that Caleb is the guy. Colston has time. And I believe Colston will have a game where he's going to be a matchup problem. But I think in each individual game is different. And I believe if you're a coach, you're going to figure out Colston is the matchup this week. He's the mismatch this week. Next week it can be DJ. One week it can be. That's the type of team the Bears have. So one guy may not dominate the stats or all the catches. Even the same thing with the running game. We obviously see that DeAndre Swift has taken off, and then you got 1 week later, Kyle Monangai showing another element of running game. You never know. As long as these guys stay healthy, that's the number one thing. These guys stay healthy, they give themselves a chance, and that's on all sides of the football.
That means you're gonna have to renew your fandom ship. No, I'm just
Well, hey, look at I got nothing but patience, but I'm very critical. But I'm not stupid. I know what it's going to take for the Bears to win. It's going to take some luck. is going to take some strategy, and it's gonna take a little bit of everything. It's the NFL. I mean, you get to a certain point, you want to stay healthy, and I think for the most part they're healthy. I know we know Jalen Johnson is out for the year. I forget the kid's name, the young man's name that got hurt last week. He's been helping them on the defensive backfield, getting some picks. He got banged up against New Orleans, but the health of the team is the best thing going, along with their ability to be on the field and actually play at the level in which they play and just get better each week. The question is, you got not the New Orleans Saints, but you got Baltimore coming in. You're going to, I think they're going to Baltimore, and
Baltimore,
I believe,
Baltimore
I
at Cincinnati, the next two games.
okay, so you're going to Baltimore. I think you're getting Baltimore off of a bye. Baltimore and Buffalo was on the bye week 7.
Lamar
Baltimore,
back, supposedly.
say that again.
Lamar Jackson is supposed to be coming.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Lamar's supposed to come back. Maybe their defense is getting healthy. I think Roquan was out and going to Baltimore. Now, even with Cincinnati, they just got a shot in the arm on Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers with Joe Flacco, you know, putting on a clinic. Any young quarterback, high school, college, or pro, that was a great game to see because there were two veteran quarterbacks, the Pittsburgh Steelers going against Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers. It went down to the end. We went down all the way down to a Hail Mary. Great game to watch. I believe that, in my opinion, it was still the best game of the week. Uh, Fantastic finish by at the end of the day in that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock window
About Broncos.
with the Broncos. Yes, yes, that was a great ending with the Broncos and Giants. You know, the action around the NFL is tremendous. It never ceases to amaze me. And as I've been highly critical of the Bears of moves they've made over the last year or two, I've been taking advantage of the fact that I want to watch and see what's going on around the league. When I say that, are the Kansas City Chiefs, have they found their stride? And
Rashee Rice is back.
and the Indianapolis Colts, for all those in the 317. Are the Colts for real? They look for real to me. They went into Los Angeles and beat the world's greatest coach. The Chargers are banged up, but but I don't take nothing away from the Colts, man. The Colts doing their thing down in 317. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The Chiefs and the Colts, I mean, are they the two best teams in the AFC? The NFC is kind of taking form. With that being said, I want to step into the North a little bit because I had an opportunity to watch Green Bay and Arizona.
I just couldn't get into that game yesterday. Like it was on, but I just couldn't lock in on it.
Yeah. Arizona put up a good fight. They led most of the way in that game. And it led me to believe that um Jordan Love may be struggling a little bit. I think their running game, I think they're gonna lean more towards the run. They're doing their best to lean more towards their running game in Green Bay. It's gonna be interesting to see how Green Bay is looking when they get into more of the into their conference games, into the divisional games. I mean, um, there's still some questions about the Packers, even though I think they're 4-1 at the top of the division. I believe 4-1-1 with that tie they had against the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like hell. They got CD Lamb back. Look like they taking off again. And now they got to really be wondering about letting go of Micah. You know what I mean? With
Mm,
that offense ringing and humming the way it is, you got CD Lamb back, and I think the CD Lamb injury allowed
Pickens.
the Cowboys to unlock some other guys with CeeDee Lamb being out for a couple weeks, and now they're back at full strength. The question is, can the defense hold up? They look good, but didn't they lose? Didn't the Cowboys lose this
No,
week?
the Cowboys won 44-22, but
Oh yeah, they beat the
yeah,
Commanders.
Jaden Daniels
Yeah,
hurt. He-
yeah. Beat Jaden Daniels.
So they was playing against Marcus Mariota. So,
Yeah,
they should be able to hold them. I mean, they scored 20.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. Um, it's gonna be interesting, man. We just not pretty much getting on the brink of the halfway point, going down the stretch. The cream will always rise to the top in the NFL. We will see who the top teams are in the league. But I had to speak on Kansas City hitting their stride and the Colts doing their thing. Um, Minnesota.
What's Kansas City's record before we move off of them? What's their record right
Let's
now?
see it.
I
Uh,
know at the beginning of the season, Rashid was suspended and Xavier Worthy went down on like the third play of the first game. So they was down two guys, and now both of them guys are back on the field.
KC is 4-3.
Okay.
In third place of the division. Denver at the top of that AFC West division at 5-2. KC just getting over 500 at 4-3. The Chargers are 4-3, with the Raiders 2-5. But uh, the Chiefs had a chance to pretty much have another glorified practice against the Raiders. I think they shut them out, and I think Mahomes was on the sideline by the end of the third quarter. You don't see that much in the NFL. The Raiders are able to get a win and also able to rest their quarterback. You know what I mean?
What
And probably were able to rest some of their first string guys, receivers, and backs as well. What you got?
I said, well, when Gino keep throwing it to you,
Yeah,
that's making everything
yeah.
easy.
It's like, we getting into we can get into some of the bad in the NFL. That includes Geno Smith and Justin Fields and the Tennessee Titans as a whole. The Browns won. Browns won. They beat one of the worst teams in the league. They beat Miami 31-6. But the bottom of the league, you know, for me to get off into the Justin Fields thing with the Jets, that's a whole different. I can make a whole show about that, about Justin Fields. I feel a certain way about Justin. But I'm gonna tell you like this: Justin Fields made a great decision monetarily. He made a horrible decision professionally as it pertains to football. Because what he did, he didn't get the best of coaching in Chicago. Okay, he didn't impress him in Pittsburgh. They wanted him to come back, but they wanted him to work on that, earning his position. He was going to have to compete. He didn't want to do that. The Jets sold him. They said, "Come here. We'll give you the starting job." He bet on himself. What Justin Fields did not do, he did not carefully assess the situation and assess and make sure that he was surrounded with good coaching. Once again, he's with a rookie, a first year head coach, and a first year offensive coordinator. He's in the worst situation than he was in Chicago, and we know how bad that was. So, until further notice, Justin Fields needs to sit his ass down and learn how to play the quarterback position. And hopefully he does some great things with that money he got. But he made a bad decision to go to the Jets. I didn't feel good about it when he did it.
He was
And I think I think everybody kind of felt that way, but it is what it is. It's the Jets, and Justin Fields is what he is. He made a bad decision. He needs to sit his ass down and watch how to learn how to play the position. He absolutely does not come across as a student of the game.
I mean, what Justin said, look, man, I may not get a shot at no bag like this ever again in this league.
Yeah,
I may not get another shot to be the guy. Just they just naming me the guy because you said uh, Pittsburgh wanted him back, but they wanted him to compete. See, he had to take that shot, and they was paying him to take that shot. But we know a lot of people don't succeed in New York Jets green or whatever they green is. They just don't. I mean, they may be similar to the Chicago Bears history when it comes to
and
quarterback.
that I, yeah, when you come to quarterback, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, I mean, like I said, the Jets money green too. They got to have a quarterback too. So if they gonna give me 2 years, I think it was 2 years, 48 million and 40 mil guaranteed. I think he said I ain't gonna get that nowhere else. The Steelers was trying to give me not even close to that, probably.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
Steelers, if that's how you feel about me, at least pay me like that, and I'll come back and compete. But you ain't even close, and they offer me more, and I'm the guy. I gotta take that opportunity.
the
Somebody gonna give me
interesting,
a backup job next year.
the interesting thing is, I think he won't be in New York next year. It's going to be interesting where he end up if that's in the NFL at all. For all of those people that think that he's a running back, he is not a running back. He's not a running back.
No, he's a backup quarterback.
He's
Somebody
a
was,
backup quarterback now.
yeah.
He needs to sit his ass down and figure out how to play quarterback. If not, he needs to retire.
He has a great value as being backup quarterback. His value gonna be equivalent to what Jameis Winston's value was when he first left Tampa Bay. Like, okay, if we get into a situation, this guy can come in and win me if you get if we he can go 2-2. It ain't gonna look pretty, but he's capable of going 2-2, and that's gonna be his value. That's gonna be his market. He's just gonna have to play in that sandlot. It is what it is.
Yeah, he got to hope for some Baker Mayfield magic
That's
or
rare. I thought Baker was
Sam
going.
Darnold,
Yeah,
Sam Darnold magic. He's gonna have to lean into that, but he's gonna have to go some damn way and figure out and get with a coach that can get him to understand the position at this level. And until he does that, he's not going to be any good. And it's it just goes to back to show you where you end up and where you get drafted really affects how your career can play out. Now, Baker Mayfield had the chance to go and work under Sean McVay, an offensive coach, a good offensive coach. And I think from the time he left the Rams, he started to trend up. I think he went to Carolina after that. And I think Tampa Bay was his next landing spot. But I think the time he spent in LA with Sean McVay benefited him extremely well. As well as with his ability to probably develop a little bit more maturity and think a little bit more about his career and probably locked in on football because when Baker Mayfield first came in, he had a big campaign going on. I mean, there's a lot of commercials, a lot of advertising. And when he kind of got away from that and kind of locked in on football and got with a coach, he was much better. Same thing with Sam Darnold. When not only did he go to Minnesota and continue to show progress, but I think he made a stop
San
in
Francisco.
San Francisco
Yep,
with
Shanahan.
with Kyle Shanahan, and then continued that success with what's the coach's name in Minnesota?
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. You know, Coaching matters. We can't say that enough. And I just think that's the only shot in hell that Justin Fields has. He got to sit his ass down and learn how to play this game. He should have been watching that game Thursday night between Flacco when Flacco and Rodgers was showing them how to spin it. Two
Can you
40 year old quarterbacks out there doing their thing, man. It was classic.
can you believe that the way we talking about Justin Fields right now, once upon a time, he beat the Michigan Wolverines 56-27.
Yeah, yeah, but see, this is the thing. He still had a coach at that time. Now, don't get me wrong. He had
Some
probably
track
the
athletes
best,
too.
the
Yeah,
best, the best athletes around. And that's another thing with the Jets that the roster isn't the best. Gary Wilson, I like Gary Wilson. He's a little bit on the thin side, you know, for my liking.
he was on
But
that team.
yeah, I
Ma-
know. But I'm talking about with the Jets.
Yeah,
With the Jets, I like the running backs. I like Brees Hall. I like Braylon Allen. I think Braylon Allen went out with an injury, and I felt like when Braylon Allen went out with that injury, it kind of took some sting out of that run game, and it was going to put more pressure on Justin, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, he looked bad against the Buffalo Bills, but after Braylon Allen went down, because don't get me, Brees Hall is the real deal. I like Brees Hall, but him and Braylon Allen was probably one of the best tailback duos in the NFL. In comparison with what you got in Detroit, those guys was getting it done, but they took turns turning the ball over as well in recent weeks. You know, so in with the Jets, everybody's played a part in losing, coaches and players, but the quarterback's going to get the blame. They think that Tyrod Taylor gives them a better chance, which I don't think so. I think Tyrod Taylor is going to be just as bad as Justin. Uh, I mean, it's going to be hard to do that, but I just think I I think that's going to be hard. I think it's hard to say that Tyrod Taylor is going to be there for the next 10 games
he gonna
all the
get
way through.
yeah. Even if
So
he
it's going
play,
to be interesting.
get hurt.
It's going to be an interesting thing to see what goes on in New York.
Yeah,
So unfortunately, I don't think Justin's surrounded with a coach that he can learn anything from. And I think this is it for him in New York. Hopefully he can get with a coach that can help him learn how to play quarterback. And if he get a chance, who knows? Um, Speaking of quarterback, we jumping around. Minnesota Vikings lose to the Eagles. I think
Carson Wentz
it's
throwing it to him.
yeah. Hey man, Minnesota let Darnold go. Now they need to find out if they got their guy. They need to get they got to get McCarthy on the field soon as possible. They're
Yeah,
in the same position the Bears are in. They need to know if they got the guy.
yeah, I heard. I think it was during that game or somewhere that they wasn't rushing him back or something like that. And was just when I
No.
heard it, my eyebrows went up a little bit. Like, not rushing him back. It ain't like Carson Wentz balling out right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, he
Y'all
need to be
struggling.
back.
Yeah,
They need to get him back. Carson Wentz, it was a good look for a couple weeks. He had some moments, especially I think the first week he went out, the defense went out. They got a bunch of turnovers, and but since then, nah, that ain't the answer. They need to find out what they got in JJ McCarthy soon as they can. And unfortunately, they let go. They let JJ McCarthy go. I mean, not JJ McCarthy, but they
Sam.
got Sam Donald. They let Sam Donald go, and they probably regretting that right now. But they better find out what they got in JJ McCarthy. That's just the bottom line. They better get him on the field quick. And the unfortunate thing is, you sacrificing a good roster, but you're
Oh yeah,
also sacrificing a good roster with Carson Wentz as well, and you're still not getting the job done.
yeah. Because the Vikings window, I would say is probably closer to the end than it is the beginning with that roster because I mean Jordan Addison gonna be coming up pretty soon to want to get paid. Um, Justin Jefferson just got paid. The defense I know they already had to ship off Daniil Hunter, the DN, the edge they had. Like they window they in their window now. Put it like that.
Better
They're not
believe
in
it.
the same spot as the Bears.
Talking about quarterbacks having a chance to resurface around the league. Mac Jones.
Yeah.
We gonna be shutting it down in a minute. Mac Jones. What the hell you feel about Mac Jones? He looked a lot healthier against the Falcons on Sunday night than he did previously. The week before, he looked healthy, and they got the running game going. McCaffrey with 24 carries, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones was just serviceable, but it looked like he's getting healthy. And you got to wonder for Mac Jones, where will he end up next season? Because if he continues to pull the weight he's pulling in San Francisco, you got to think he'll get an opportunity somewhere in the NFL, probably to be a starter. And when I say that, we talked about it earlier. Next year, I believe that Ben Johnson will bring another veteran in. The competition is going to be on. He's not handing any. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think he's handing anything to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to have to take this extension. He's going to have to be great.
Hey, I mean, they just paid Bajan. You know, they gave him some money last year, so I
That,
just can't see
that's
them.
little money. That's little money. That's little money. That's little money. Think
They
about
paying
what you
that.
got. That's little money.
I'm
For,
saying
for,
they gonna pay that much for a third string quarterback because you already got Caleb on a rookie deal, and then you're
yeah,
gonna have
but you know the NFL contract's not. He got all that. I bet you any money Tyson got a lot of that money up front already. Trust me.
but even if
Caleb Williams
okay,
has to take this job and leave all doubt. He needs to clear all doubt on Ben Johnson because Ben is going to look for someone to run his offense. I'm telling you, man. I'm looking at this dude, and that's the conclusion I come to. This dude is looking for somebody to run his offense because Ben Johnson thinks he's the shit.
this is why
That's 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 what it looks like to me, man.
I I I give you that. I just can't see it happening this year because that's just year two of them
Well,
being together, and that's a lot of money to allocate to your quarterback position. Even though you paid Tyson, then you're gonna have to pay somebody. If you talking about a veteran quarterback to come in and somebody to push Caleb, that's about between 14, $18 million. And when you
we'll
still need
see.
an edge, you still
We'll
need,
see.
but you still need
We'll
an
see.
edge rusher though.
Yeah, but they gonna do that in the draft. I can see them doing that in the draft.
Somebody gonna be out there.
Okay, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I just think that if Caleb don't take this thing and run with it, he's gonna have more competition
We agree,
and
just
have
not
his
on the
own.
timeline.
Okay. Remember, we wasted a year of Caleb's development last year.
I
That's gonna
understand.
come back. I'm telling you. That year doesn't go anywhere. We're still trending towards when they're gonna have to pick up his option.
They got to pick up his option after the fourth year, right? Because he's a first round pick. I believe those contracts are 4 years. Then you can be back.
I could be wrong, but I think that they need to know after next year.
They gonna give it 2 years. They gonna give him and Ben 2 years.
You would like to think.
They gonna
I
scrap.
continue to tell. I continue to tell you they wasted a year of his development last year,
We know Ben got all the juice. We know Ben got all the juice. So
and
Ben ain't got no pressure on him these first 2 years with Caleb. Then it's after when they start approaching,
ain't no pressure on Ben.
that's what I'm saying.
You
When they start,
missing my point. The pressure's on Caleb. The pressure's on Caleb because they're gonna have to pay him, and that's after next year.
not
He
after
has
that,
to stay healthy.
I'm with you. I think
Let me paint you a picture real quick. Let me paint you a picture real quick. Jaden Daniels is injured right now,
right,
right?
right.
Does Jaden Daniels' resume say pay me right now?
They gonna pay him. Yep.
Okay. Caleb Williams got drafted at the same time. Caleb Williams cannot miss any snaps. That's why I continue to tell you his availability is the best thing he got going for him because they wasted a year of his development. After next year, they're
Next year,
going to have to make a decision.
after next year, right?
After next year, they're going to have to make a decision.
So we saying the same thing then. We saying year one, he get this year, and then he get next year with Ben. I thought you were saying he was gonna bring in a veteran net for the start
Yeah,
of
there will
26.
be I believe that he will bring another guy in. There will be someone else. Because this is my thing. If Tyson Bagent doesn't hit the field this year,
Right.
which I think he will because I don't know. I think it's gonna be a challenge for Caleb to be healthy for the next 10 weeks. If he does, that's gonna be great in his development because can't forget he was durable last year. He played all 17 games last year. That would mean he played all 17 games this year. So you're gonna keep your fingers crossed on that. But if you don't know what you got, you really won't know what you got in Tyson Bagent. You may be trending in a position to know what you got in Caleb Williams. So Tyson Bagent may be expendable at that point. If he don't hit the field, that money can go elsewhere.
Yeah,
So
his
I'm saying
deal a three. I'm just trying to line
Caleb has
up.
to take this position and do a Caleb. He has to do he and not only that, the Bears got to. Did you think the Bears need to make the playoffs this year for it to be trending in that direction for Caleb Williams?
Yeah, they supposed to make it this year.
Okay,
By
so
hook or crook, whether they win a
yeah,
division or they a wild card, they got to make it this year. I
yeah,
got them as being a fringe playoff team.
and see that's what I'm saying. So I just can't get around. This is why I'm suspended. I just can't get around the fact that they wasted a year of the man's development, and the pressure's on him now to impress this coach. That's all I'm saying. They
I'm with
wasted a year of the man's development, and I didn't want him in the first place, but that's just the hardcore truth. He got to impress this guy now
yeah. It's just the
because
fact
I think Ben Johnson think he is the stuff, and you better run my stuff the right way, and you
he gonna
better
get 2 years
produce.
to do it. That's all I'm saying. That's our time because his contract is up. It's 2029, so I can see the scenario you say of them bringing somebody in to push Caleb at the start of the 27 season. So he get all the 25 and he get all the 26. If it ain't looking right, then we bring in somebody in and push him at the start of 27 because then he gets 27. 28 is his last year on the books. So they got to know in 27, they got to know what they're doing. That's why I say he
Okay.
got 25 and 26.
All right, we're gonna close it out. I'm running a little behind, so we're gonna close it out. I want to look ahead to some of these games next week. If you see anything in the NFL that tweaks your interest going into next week's game, because the NFL action continues to be fantastic. What we remember the NBA used to be. It's getting real. Every week it's
Yeah,
an
coming back
interesting
to
matchup.
NBC. It's about to have the theme song and everything. It's gonna be
Yeah,
nostalgia.
yeah. So next week we're going into week 8. We get a week. We get a cut. I think we get a week or so off from the 8:30 starts. No overseas games. We go to our traditional 12 o'clock starts, and then Thursday night, the Chargers, Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, they got the Chargers at in Los Angeles on Thursday night to open up Week 8. Um, some of the key matchups you got Miami at Atlanta, New York at Cincinnati. Feel free to stop me if any one of these matchups tweak your interest.
Oh well,
New
yeah,
York at
you got to
Philly.
pay attention to New York at Cincinnati just to see how the Jets look with Tyrod.
Oh yeah, you got to do that. Yeah, yeah. On the low end of the perspective, yes. And then you also want to see how Joe Flacco continues to trend in Cincinnati as they're hoping to get Joe Burrow back, and they're hoping Joe Flacco can get them, bridge them to that moment. But I would say that if Joe Flacco continues to play well, I just leave him out there, and I won't. You know, if we get to the playoffs, then I may think about Burrow. But if he can continue to play well and Burrow can continue to get healthy, I leave Flacco out there. That's what I would do. So you got Cleveland at New England, New York at Philly. I think
They just
New York
played.
beat. Yeah, New York just beat Philly. They're going to Philly this time. That's going to be an interesting matchup with that being the second meeting between those two, the defending champs.
And
Lost
Saquon's
to the
frustrated.
Yeah, it's
Brown's
in
frustrated.
Philly this time,
Yeah,
and
it's a
it's
lot
going to be
going on.
interesting to see after the Eagles coming off the performance and Jalen Hurts coming off his performance against the Vikings to see if he can continue to get that trending in the right direction to the point where they're winning because of Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Um, Buffalo at Carolina, uh, coming off the bye week, and Buffalo was one of those teams everyone thought would be a Super Bowl contender, and I think people starting to question their roster a little bit. They're going to Carolina. I think the Carolina quarterback, the young guy Bryce Young, I think he got banged up against the Jets. We're
Yeah,
interested to
I think
see if he plays.
so.
Uh, of course, Chicago at Baltimore. You want to see if the run game continues and the defense continues to play as well, and the run game continues to produce. Also, we want to see if Caleb can get on and have a better game, and to see if the health of Lamar Jackson in that game. That's going to be critical to see if Lamar Jackson can come back off the bye week. You got San Francisco at Houston. Houston should be taking on the Seahawks as we speak right now. I don't have a
Yeah,
score on
we
that Lions game. What's the
24
score on that line?
24-9 Lions with under 5 minutes to go.
Okay.
Buccaneers trying they like in, in the red zone, 3rd and 8.
Okay. Speaking of Buccaneers, we right on track with that. After this Monday night game, they'll be in New Orleans in that 3 o'clock window, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, playing New Orleans. Speaking of New Orleans, I get the I didn't speak on this with the kid with the young man playing for the New Orleans, the quarterback
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. He went into Soldier Field, and it looked like he went in there to really show that
He
he was
did.
the better quarterback. He played with a lot of confidence. He just, he turned the ball over quite a bit, but he did look comfortable. He did look like he was, comfortable within his skin playing back there. He lived with his mistakes. He went back to the sideline and tried to make his adjustments, but the kid played tough, had some nice stats, but he had them 2 picks to go along with it. Um, Dallas at Denver. This should be an interesting matchup. They're really good defense. This is a perfect matchup. Denver has one of the best defenses in the NFL, and now they get to match up with one of the best offenses in the NFL in Denver in that three
I think
twenty
a lot,
five. Say
yeah,
that again.
I think a lot of people gonna get their eyes open to what the Broncos are because they playing America's team. Seriously,
Well,
I don't think
yeah,
the Broncos get their credit, but now that
yeah.
they're in Dallas, even though Dallas, ain't. I mean, they still relevant. Uh,
Hmm.
they like 500 right now, but yeah, people gonna watch that game and really see how good Denver, especially if Denver playing, up to the level they can play. Now, if they come out and blow a stink, have a
Yeah,
stink performance, then it's over with, and then they gonna say Denver is overrated.
yeah. Bo Nix, um, he came out in the second half and really got it going against the Giants, and continue to see if he could after not such a great game overseas against the Jets. He came and really got it going in the second half against the Giants. So Dallas going to Denver. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Tennessee at Indianapolis. I think Indy going to continue to roll. Big matchup next Sunday night. Green Bay going to Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers having a chance to go against his former team of the Green Bay Packers. I think that might be the biggest game of the week next week. And Washington at KC. You probably won't have Jaden Daniels. Takes a little bit out of this matchup. Takes a little bit of luster out of this matchup. Um, but Jaden, I don't. I find it hard to believe that Jaden Daniels will be in this game, so I'm gonna have to think that that's gonna be Washington going down again to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and that's one of our normal Monday night games. That game stands alone next Monday. So next week we got a normal week of NFL football with one game on Thursday night, and then we don't have that Sunday morning. We can sleep in a little bit. We we can be college football drunk, and we can sleep in a little bit, and we can watch football at our normal scheduled times around the country. And then that Green Bay at Pittsburgh matchup is going to be big. Dallas at Denver, and Jaden Daniels being out takes a lot of lust out of this Washington KC. But it gives Kansas City another opportunity to just tweak their offense and get things going. Thanks for checking us out tonight. Even though we got off to a rough start, subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching the game.
We out. We out.